Garrett came to us because he sustained a high ankle sprain this last hockey season. Now, for the most part, he's doing pretty good, but he's still reporting a little bit of pain and pinchiness in that ankle. Now, when we do that knee-to-wall test here, we use his body measurements, but he's still reporting when he goes past that body measurement test, he's getting a little bit of impingement in the front of the ankle. So we need to figure out what his joint mechanics are that make it better. Now, the typical movement of the joint would be a posterior glide of the talus around, fixing that talus and gliding it posteriorly and allowing the tib fib to glide anteriorly. So when we add a posterior glide, it actually gets better, but when we add an anterior glide from the calcaneus, it gets worse. Another component we can do is we can look at tibial rotation. When we rotate the tib fib internally, it clears out the pinch, he gets more range of motion, and when we go externally, he reports more impingement. So his ankle mechanics are actually moving in the kind of typical expectation of what the joints are supposed to do in a closed kinetic chain, say deep lunge position. So we're going to use this information to apply the right exercise for him. Now, what can happen is the mechanics might be a little bit opposite. So we just adjust to our findings and not assume or expect everyone to move in the exact same way. So we're going to use this elevated high lunge position. We're using the band to create that posterior glide of the talus in between the tib fib. He can stay here, he can hold it. Now we can do some active calf raises. And what you'll notice is as he lowers the heel down, he gets a little bit of cogwheeling. So he gets this kind of juddery movement. It's not very smooth. It kind of hinges or kind of juts down. It's not this nice controlled movement. It's because we're finding new positions or ranges of motion of the ankle, and the muscles and the nervous system don't quite know what to do here yet. To increase difficulty, we can add some resistance on top of his knee. Either I can do it or he can do it himself. Or ideally, we can just give him a kettlebell or a weight to do this to increase resistance. But always keeping in mind that whenever we are mobilizing something, we need to create strength and control in that new range of motion. So it's not enough to just mobilize and stretch. We actually need to create control, or else we essentially can create some ranges that are weak or unstable. So what we're noticing Garrett do here is as he gets up high onto the toes, he's kind of supinating and inverting that ankle. So he's losing first toe contact. So we're trying to encourage him to keep that big toe down as he performs this calf raise so that he maintains that contact and that connection of the big toe through the back of the ankle, foot, and essentially up the kinetic chain. And next, we're just going to bring Garrett down to the floor into a half kneeling lunge. Still have the band around the ankle, but in this position, he can essentially load up that ankle dorsiflexion a little bit more. We can give him a kettlebell to load that up on. And as well as mobilizing the ankle a little bit further, he's also working on that opposite hip extension that when he shifts his weight forward onto the forefoot, it improves his acceleration.